Call this meeting to order this morning. We do have a quorum. We'll start by the prayer. Lord, you here? You will lead us in the prayer, and I will lead us in the prayer.
Father, this morning we give you honor and glory, and we thank you, Father, for this glorious day you've given us. We ask, Father, that your presence be felt in this room today, Lord, with all the stress and emotions and burdens that are carried into this courtroom today. Father, we ask that peace come over this place, Lord. I ask that you be with everybody here today, Father, and that everything is done in an orderly fashion. And Father, I just pray blessing upon this courtroom today. In the mighty, glorious name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen and amen.
Thank you. Join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any public comments this morning? And then we'll move on to the consent agenda. Senior citizens, Amelia, here. Not extensively, but Dixon.
I'd like to remind everybody, next weekend's the rodeos. We changed something up. If you've got little kids, mutton busting will actually be on Thursdays. So you can check with me and we can kind of help you out on that. We've got several going to West Texas Fair here in a few weeks, and then we've got several going to State Fair. So stock show season is starting up. That's about it.
Thanks, sir. Treasury report as far as.
After reconciliation of all of the county funds, we ended with $7,533,529.35. And also on another note, just to remind everyone, we only have 3 payrolls left in this fiscal year, so to watch your budget numbers. And then also, it's also open enrollment for the health insurance for any employees that might want to change anything with your health insurance, add anyone to the plan or remove them. Now's the time to do it. That's all I've got.
Thank you. County Auditor, Nola.
Yes, the commissioner should have received an invoice file listing. And then also, I gave y'all a copy of the INS payment is due today, and we have to wire transfer it, so it wasn't on the list, so I'm asking approval for it also, for the jail bond. That's it.
Law enforcement, Sheriff Wade.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Where's the money?
If you don't know me, my name is Simon Wade. I was appointed last month by these commissioners to be your sheriff. And gentlemen, today I'm going to provide you a report of what I found over the last 34 days, approximately. First off, I just want to say, thank you for appointing me to this position. I came here asking to take this job, not for the money, not for the title, but to actually make this county and this sheriff's department a better place and a more reputable place. And as I've went throughout the county over the last month, man, I have been told some stories that are really hard to believe and super hard to understand. The residents of Fisher County have not been given the law enforcement support or service that they deserve. Now, there have been some very fine employees come through the jail, and I have some very fine employees standing in the back right back there. But there have been officers and deputies that have done things in the county that you guys know better than I do that are just downright embarrassing. And so what am I going to do as the sheriff to try and rebuild the reputation and rebuild this agency? This is one of the hardest times to be in law enforcement anywhere in the United States right now. And I'm fighting that uphill battle already. I chose and I asked to do this job because I want to rebuild our reputation here in Fisher County. So the best way I can do that is to turn that jail and this department inside out and show you everything that's going on. and just ask that, hey, I want you to start trusting me, my deputies and my dispatchers right back here, and let me build that trust back with you. I understand that a lot of people have been wronged in this county. I've had people come to my office. Actually, I had a family call me last week, absolutely terrified to even come to Roby to talk to me about issues that go back 15 years. I listen to everybody's concerns. They're very important to me, and I will resolve some of those issues the best I can. So commissioners, as you go throughout your districts and everyone else, come and talk to me. I want to hear about your concerns, and I want to make things better. I want to show you what we're doing. That's the only way I can do that. What did we do last month? We did 233 calls for service. We've heard that briefed a few times over the last months. 233 calls, that includes our fire, EMS, everybody. Those 233 calls, that's what we annotated. Those dispatchers standing right back there, they answer every one of them. Our deputies go out. That includes fire, EMS, a little bit of everybody, okay? There's 5 inmates in the jail right now. Something that I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start putting everybody's picture in their face right on social media, right to the Double Mountain Chronicle. Every time we get an arrest, every time we get someone booked, who's in the jail? You guys need to know that information. You need to know who's in that building over there. And I need your help finding some of these individuals. There is no longer going to be, who's got a warrant or who's this or who's that. There's several people I'm looking for. People I don't even know. Adrian Fortuna. He's wanted for solicitation of a minor. I'm looking for Adrian Fortuna, whoever that is. I know his picture. Help me find him. Arturo Guadalupe Ortiz, cruelty to animals. I'm looking for you too. Bobby Lewis McNulty, ag assault. Come and see me. I'm going to put all of these were put in the Double Mountain Chronicle in the paper. We're going to start doing that again. We need to clean this place up. The inspections and the transparency that I told you that we're going to do in the jail. So day 2 of me taking office, I found a bunch of evidence that was not handled properly. I'll leave it at that. I requested an investigation through the district attorney's office and the Texas Rangers to come inside the jail, turn it upside down, and tell me what to do with this stuff. Now that I've gotten that taken care of, and I'll get those items disposed of properly through disposition through the judge, I've requested Texas Commission on Jail Standards to come and do a full top-to-bottom inspection as well. Now, everyone knows Jason Jouet did the last inspection, and some of you may know him. He's actually going to be replaced this month with a guy named Todd Allen. So Todd Allen's going to come out and we'll do another inspection. TCOL, Texas Commission on Law Enforcement, gentleman with David, his name's David. He's going to come out and he's going to go through every employee file and folder that I have to make sure that we are certified, licensed, and doing exactly what we're supposed to do for you, the residents. We signed a memorandum of agreement with Rotan High School. Rotan High School has a gentleman by the name of Royce Bell. He's a full-time law enforcement officer that's going to work inside the Rotan High School there. Really awesome. This Thursday, school starts here in Roby. I'll have one of my deputies there when kids are being dropped off or when they're being picked up, if you can help spread that word. I want you to see the deputies more so around our kids and our schools and our events and our games and everything. We've proven time and time again that the best deterrence to any major violence is simply presence. And so my deputies need to be out there and being vigilant and paying attention to what's going on. SB 22, I said I would talk about that. Senate Bill 22 is Texas state funding to give small counties, law enforcement officers, jailers, dispatchers, raises and stuff like that. There's a lot of information out there. Here's what I'll tell you. Here's the most important thing I want to tell you about SB 22. It's money that's coming from the state. It's not coming from Fisher County, so it's not coming from your taxes here. And it directly goes into the dispatchers and the jailers that are standing right back there. They're going to see the raises that they deserve. That money will not be available probably until February of 2024. There's a lot of little processes and things that have to go on. The commissioners have got to vote on it and approve things. So there's some steps that got to go. But SB 22 is an amazing shot in the arm for our law enforcement individuals who we said for many years didn't get paid enough. The last thing I'll talk to you about is this Lubbock contract. It's number 17 on the agenda item. When it comes to that, the commissioners are gonna vote on it and discuss it. I'll tell you what it is. I'm gonna take 10 inmates from Lubbock, bring them down here. After a period of observation, we're gonna turn them into trustees. And then I'm gonna take them right out in town and we're gonna pick up trash along the roads. We're gonna clean up around the courthouse. We're gonna go to problem areas that the commissioners, you tell me, where we can take a detail of inmates and go clean up. And I'll show you tangible results immediately with that. Gentlemen, again, I appreciate this opportunity of you making me your sheriff. And thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you, Cheryl. I'll entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion, please.
Second. All in favor? Unanimous. Motion carries. New business, conflict of interest, Ms. Moulton,
I don't have any, Judge, so,
budget amendment.
no budget amendments, no special revenue due on account now.
Okay, takes us to item 4, burn ban. What's the pleasure of the court?
Need to put it in effect.
I'm gonna make a motion to put it in effect.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Motion carries. No special revenue, Ms. Moulton. Item number 6, discuss and approve bank bids for county depository. Ms. Parks, name on here.
Yes, both banks in the county, supplied us with the bid. And both banks have, given us a very good, summary of their services. And, both banks are waiving all the fees, and I like one of the quotes that was in one of the bid bids. It says, if a bank's charging you fees, you're banking in the wrong place. And so that was probably noted by both banks. In review, there were a few things to notice or mention that were different, by each bank. I don't know if you have still the copies that were provided to you last month by each bank. But if you refer to page 20 of the First Financial Bank, 27 of First Financial Bank, and page 20 of First National Bank, it's the variable interest rates on each. And if you put them side by side, if you don't have a copy of that, we have a copy we can pass to you, or did you just pass?
I just passed it up.
Brandy just passed to you. Some notable differences. On the interest bearing of the checking accounts, First National Bank Row 10 has a cap of 4%, a fixed interest base rate of 2%, and a deduction of 1.75 off the 91-day T-bill rate. And on the date of the bid, their current rate would have been 3.43% to the county in interest. Compared to First Financial Bank's cap, they have no cap, and their 91-day T-bill rate of minus 2%, a floor of 0.75%. That rate on that date, presenting the bid would have been 5.04% to the county. So there's a difference there between First Financial Bank's 5.04 versus First National's 3.43. The money market accounts, we see the same, no cap all the way down through money market accounts, certificates of deposits on First Financial Bank, no caps. First National Bank has 4% caps and 2% base rates. And both are comparing to the T-bill rate. Minus 1.75 on First National Row 10, and the First Financial also has a special money market account now that I did not see in the First National bid, but they'll base that rate off the taxable rate, which is usually a little bit higher than the T-bill rate, that they'll offer to the county as well. On June 3rd, that rate would have been 5.05.83. And I didn't see really any other differences as far as products they offer, bank to bank, other than, First Financial is, we do the remote deposit. We currently have 3 machines at no cost from First Financial Bank. First National Bank would allow 1 for free, and then the other at cost. I'm not aware of what that cost would be from First National Bank, but that's some notable differences that I see in bid to bid. And that's all I have. I do see First National Bank and First Financial Bank, if y'all have any questions that you'd like to ask either bank. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Marks.
Sure.
Pleasure of the court.
I'd like to give, both banks a chance to get up and actually explain what, Gina just talked about.
All right, who wants to go first?
And y'all need the paper to look at to explain.
Hello, I'm Debbie Anthony with First Financial Bank, and I have Justin here with me who manages this branch over here. We are excited to currently have your bid. We look forward to hoping that we can do that in the future. We are offering the 91-day T-bill rate minus 25 basis points on your monies, and then we do offer that special money market account for any excess funds. That's the tax pool that's based on the tax pool rate. And so the rates are moving up, as you know. Both of those rates would be over 5% right now. And the remote deposit stays the same. We do offer the ACH. We are waiving all fees on everything, your checks, everything. So if anybody has any questions, I'm welcome. I can take that now.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Mike?
I'm Mike Wilkes, First National Bank, Rotan. Of course, our Dina did a good job explaining our bid. As a taxpayer to the county, I would expect you to do what's best for the county. Our rate today would be 3.53, but we do offer all services free. We are locally owned. We process everything here and try to be a good steward of our county. So, do you have any questions or?
Any questions for Mike? Thank you.
Well, let's do this, so everybody in the public understands what we're actually addressing right now. When you get to the caps and stuff like that, how does it affect the people if we're capped versus non-capped on our interest rates here?
Well, yeah, it's a ceiling on it's the most we would pay.
Yeah. So we've just got a break to where if the county hits a certain amount, we're
Right.
off at
Right.
that, but one
Yeah.
with the other, we don't have the ceiling
Cool.
where the county.
And obviously, we're betting that rates will go down next year. I don't know that for certain, but that's kind of our bet. We could be wrong. We didn't expect it to be the environment that it is today.
Yes, sir.
Even a year ago, we didn't expect this, but.
Thank you.
What's the pleasure of the court?
Right now, spent a long time rereading everything this morning again. I didn't see anything other than what you said, Gina, on what the main differences were. The only other difference I think was like, internet transactions. There was a couple differences on
Yeah.
internet transactions.
A few minor ones that we don't, some that we don't use, but there's lots of, online.
It was, wire transfers was
Yeah.
one of the main differences. it's hard to adjust to an interest rate that's at a cap. If stuff's going up. But we all know it could fall pretty quick. How often is this, Judge, how often is this addressed on the,
Every 4 years.
every four?
It was 2 last time because First Financial had the bid and we could do it without taking the bid. It's every 4 years.
Where's the gal on there?
But the numbers being ran at the interest rates and stuff right now, we, obviously, would be better to stay where we're at. Right now. That could change over a period, but it can be readdressed whenever we hit next cycle on it. But we're over 5% on one and at 3.3 on another, and with the amount of money being rolled over, with what we have coming up on the bills, we'll be shooting ourselves in the foot to drop money at the moment.
I'm gonna make a motion to stay with First Financial Bank in Roby.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll have to second that.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor? All opposed? Get that passed. Motion carried. Thank you both, guys.
Do you mind if we come shake your hand right quick and thank you for that? Thank you so much, we appreciate your business. Thank you so much. That's something.
Thank you, ma'am.
So much, we appreciate you.
Thank y'all for the opportunity to bid.
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
bidding. Appreciate y'all bidding. Thank you.
Pretty good, or you?
All right, item number 7, discuss correspondence offer from Indigo LLC regarding solar abatement. Paul?
Yes, Your Honor. As you're aware, and I think as the court's aware, I received, I think, a letter from Indigo regarding a potential solar energy operation here in the county. They're asking for an abatement, which equates, I think, to 70% tax abatement. Over 10 years, it would be over $2 million. I think it's $271,000 approximately a year they're proposing. They've also proposed to pay reasonable and necessary attorney's fees for outside counsel to help us on this. So I'm just bringing this to the court's attention and asking for y'all's authority to, I would like to reach out to Rod Wetzel. That letter, they offer to pay for counsel. So Rod's a professor at Texas Tech, formerly at UT in energy law. He's basically wrote the book on renewable energy in particular, and he's in Sweetwater. So basically that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to reach out to these folks and just kind of touch base with them and
reach out to Rod and kinda go from there and, see where we can go.
Thanks, sir. Gentlemen?
Tried to find the packet on, this wasn't the, company that came in for discussion only, what, about 2 months ago?
I believe this is a different one.
Yeah,
Like,
this is
a
yeah,
different
I
one.
think
It
so.
says they changed names, but it's the same.
Oh, it is the same?
It's the same?
Yes.
I'm here too.
Oh,
Please.
Thank you very much. My name's Mike Fry. I'm with the KEN Group out of Rockwall, Texas. And I can give you a little information on the project if that's okay. You bet, Judge. Thank you, Commissioners. I appreciate it. So the original founder, who started on this project was Innovative Solar out of North Carolina. And so hence that comes the name IS-245 Indigo. And we started, I guess, the last year before the 313 statute expired for the school districts in Trent ISD. And that was one of the unfortunate ones that didn't get to the comptroller to get approved in time. They kind of ran out of time. So the school district, even though, they're gonna benefit tremendously if this is built, they just didn't, there wasn't a 313 that was able to be done. And this project basically is 150 megawatt solar with AC, with a 60 megawatt battery energy storage system would be potentially built with it, with an estimated taxable value around $226 million after COD in the first year. And they were looking to, if everything goes well, the interconnection and all the ancillary things, start construction probably in Q1, Q2 of 2024 on this project. So then it'd be complete construction around Q2 2025 with a commercial operation to begin at that time. So there'd probably be 130 construction jobs during that time period, about that year's time period. And probably, right now, we're seeing one permanent full-time, but it'll more likely be 2 to 3, I would imagine, jobs out there. So it is, located, would be located on the Hooper land. So north of 20, and I guess west of, 1085, in that general area. right
All of
there.
that is in the Trent School District, is that right?
Yes, sir, it
I
is.
think so. Mr. Rody won't get nothing out of that.
It'll all be in Trent, yes, sir. So, and right now, GGS Energy, San Antonio, I'm working with a gentleman named Scott Hornby. They have, purchased the project from the Innovative Solar developers. So they're out of Asheville, North Carolina, it's Innovative, so. Can I answer any more questions or about the project, potential project?
This is, separate from the other one we were
Yeah,
getting
it's-
at, because
it's
the other
totally
one was
different
for,
than-
Dozier and
Yeah.
them. and
This
then-
one's been going on longer than the other one has.
The other one said they were asking for a tax abatement.
Well, that's why I was asking, because the company that came in 2 months ago,
They didn't
with
ask for it.
discussion, they weren't wanting a tax abatement on.
Oh, they was,
No.
oh, they wasn't.
Well, they were.
No.
Is it a smaller
Uh,
project, probably?
It was a fairly big project, from what I remember, because they were supposed to be bringing in, what was it, 80-something jobs to the county?
Nine.
What's that?
90 truck jobs is what.
Oh, okay, it was not solar energy,
Yeah, it wasn't solar. But part of it is gonna be supposedly solar, but starting out with it wasn't solar.
Okay. There's a lot of battery energy storage right now.
Yeah.
Being developed all over the state, so, and solar.
I do agree that we need to have somebody that specializes in this to look over this contract. But, in our meeting in December, we did vote to have either Crestro negotiate any energy contracts, not Michael Hall, so.
And I would say here, I mean, obviously, we turned in the application, we asked to be 70, but we understand that's negotiable.
A little bit.
You know, we just wanted to make it work the county, knows what they're getting in the winter and the deal, plus the industry side, so that's the most important thing, that both sides are happy.
Nolan County? Did you say Nolan County?
Fisher, no, sir.
So what you're asking for today is a tax abatement?
Yes, sir.
And then, no?
I just think we should have more discussions before we agree
I
to
think you're right.
anything.
That's
my
gonna be a
opinion.
nice project, though.
Right, okay. Well, and you say you wanna talk to Rod Wetzel?
I do,
He's,
that's who I would recommend. Obviously, I'll talk to whoever you guys would like me to, but, Rod's really good at this stuff.
if he specializes in it, it's,
He does, yeah, he certainly does. Does them all over the country, actually.
Yeah, and I'm working right now up in Haskell County with, Alan Carmichael,
Oh, okay.
so he's very familiar with these projects now.
so we just need to approve somebody to look into it.
I just want y'all to approve me to start discussions with them. Obviously, I'm not gonna agree to anything and to, reach out to Rod's firm to see if they'd be interested in representing us. That's all I'm asking for right now.
I'm against Michael Hall negotiating anything. He's misled us on other contracts, community contracts. We need somebody that's trustworthy to.
Well, I'm gonna make a motion to give Michael Hall permission to do it, and, that way we don't have to pay out-of-county attorney.
They will pay for it. It says right there in it that they will reimburse us for any outside attorneys we use to do this.
And he's gonna consult with an outside attorney, so I'm making a motion to give him permission.
So reimburse for reasonable consulting attorney fees, not all attorney fees.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second, but we need to, get it looked at.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. All right. Item number 8, approved bond for Sheriff Wade.
Yes, I just have, Simon Wade's bond for his being appointed sheriff, needs to be approved.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Unanimous, passed.
Yeah, you can't get out of it, Sheriff. Thank you.
Item number 9, discuss and approve $8,000 purchase for installation of repeater for Commissioner's Channel, storm sirens, Mr. Hoffman.
Your Honor, Commissioners, thank you for meeting with us. Our storm sirens in Road 10 work off the Commissioner's Channel. The Sheriff's Office is able to set it off, set our sirens off for that purpose from a remote location. Since Commissioner's Channel's been down, we've had to manually go set them off at the station, which only half of the system works that way, to run manual. The other half does not have an override.
And our, Commissioner's Channel set up, all that's up here at the water tower in Roby.
Yes, sir.
Now, all that was unplugged, why is it unplugged over there?
I can't tell you that, sir. I
I
don't
don't
have.
think
Cause I know
nobody
Dexter,
unplugged it.
Dexter and I looked at that and, majority of the, repeaters were unplugged up there.
Yeah, I know, in the Stormageddon,
The commissioner's repeater, whenever, during the ice storm, whenever the water main broke up there in the building, ruined the commissioner's repeater along with ours. And we got the grant to replace ours, but it didn't cover the commissioners.
so that capability of the sheriff's office being able to set that off,
So that's why it was unplugged.
yes. Yes. So,
I don't recall the sheriff's office telling us that we needed to replace that because of the water though.
No, Look forward.
But what we're proposing, they discussed about dropping that channel. The fire departments would like to take that channel and be able to use it as a secondary. In case our repeater goes down, our main repeater goes down, we'd be able to use that, or vice versa. If y'all needed something, you'd still be able to use that as well. I know the judge's office has radio in it, which it would be usable by the judge. It wouldn't have to be monitored, like the sheriff's office monitors every channel. it wouldn't have to be in their scan to monitor that one unless it was being used as a primary. So, but, to put the repeater in, we'd end up, we have some bids that we got when we purchased some radios, through a man out of Colorado. And I have a copy of his bids to give to you.
Only one we need to replace is the one up there at the Rogan Tower, right, with Commissioner's Channel.
Yes.
So the one in Rotan,
The one in Rotan's Fisher.
we ain't gotta worry about.
That is, am I right with that?
Yes, Fisher One and EMS is at the rotating tower.
Thank you.
This is the bid we had received to replace that repeater. It is a used repeater, but it's, everything internally is brand new. There's 2 pages there. The second page, down at the bottom, I've written in what the total would be, which would be,
7745,
yes, sir.
90?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we did a little more negotiating with him and got the shipping and handling, all that taken off that 125 off that first page. So that helped reduce it a little bit too. So that 7745.90 would be the total cost, which would include the repeater, duplexers, him coming down here with the per diem, installing that repeater and the duplexers, and checking it with the sheriff's office to make sure everything is working good through their radio system, and all of the fire department and sheriff's office radios as well.
And then once it's up and going, who's done, general maintenance on it?
General maintenance would be however we could do it. You know, there shouldn't have to be any maintenance to it unless something does go wrong. We're open to anything we can do. We're here about the safety of all of us, and to be able to set those sirens off and rotate again. The north side up there where Dexter lives, this last storm, we had to mainly set it off at the station, and that one at the fire station, they can't hear up there. That's why that second one is up there. But, we want the safety of everyone involved, especially our citizens. And, you know, we'd have to just entertain, if something occurred later, how we need to go about it. If we see a problem coming with it, then we can apply for a grant through the COG or something, whatever it would take to do any repairs.
Sounds a lot better than that 20-something thousand that's talking earlier on some of that.
Right, yeah, the brand new setup is quite expensive, but this guy has done us some really good work through our departments. And, he's offered us quite a good price there. But it's just to your, up to y'all, how we need to go from there.
Something we do on our ARCA.
We can list it at, how much is it?
$456,725.73 is in the ARPA fund right now.
Yeah, we've got it on here twice, gentlemen, so if you're interested, we need to approve it, then we'll move down to the next item.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve. I'll second it.
Got a second? You have a second, Dexter? All in favor? Unanimous, motion carries. Thank you very much. Now we'll move to item number 10, to approve ARPA funds for purchase and installation. Accept the motion.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve it out of the ARCA fund
For the 8,000,
for the 8,000.
all in favor? Motion carries. Unanimous. Item number 11, discuss and approve policy regarding Texas SB 1883 social media. Ms. Parks.
Yes, sir, the SB 1893 starts, you may be aware of it, it's been on the television, on the news channels, regarding the social media, TikTok, and I just need to add that insert that into our employee handbook under the social media. We have a pretty good, social media, policy already in place, but this does add the wording, required by, that SB 1893. And Brenda just gave you a copy of the insert to add to page 24 of our employee handbook, that Fisher County prohibits the installation or use of social media service TikTok or any successor application or service developed or provided by ByteDance Limited or an entity owned by ByteDance Limited, or a social media application or service specified by proclamation of the governor on any device owned or leased by Fisher County, and requires a removal of covered application from those devices. The installation and use of the covered application may be acceptable to the extent necessary for providing law enforcement or developing the implementing information security measures. For the installation to be approved, Fisher County must require the use of measures to mitigate risks posed to the state during the use of the covered application and the documentation of those measures. Basically, our Goldsmith can block this from our devices, so that it can't come through or be utilized on any of the county computers. Can't be used on the network, to avoid that issue. So I just need to, request that we add that to the employee handbook, page 24, and request your permission to do so.
I'll make the motion.
Second. All in favor? Motion carries. Item number 12, discuss County Road 346, Nixon or Kenny Maxwell.
First up here, Your Honor.
Be fine.
Thank you, Commissioners. All of you, I believe, know Joe Nixon.
Morning.
Morning.
Mr. Nixon has been requesting maintenance for County Road 346, which comes off of Barnard Market 3205. Downward direction ends up at the Hawksdale Mountain Ranch. The road is currently used by people at the ranch, as well as adjoining landowners. There are two substations located just off the roadway. It's used by substation employees, oil and gas employees. There are numerous individuals who use that county road. And its current condition is difficult to pass over. And we've made requests in a nice fashion to try to get this done. I don't think it's a materials issue.
Not right now, probably just needs some maintenance.
Really needs some blade work, et cetera. And we're just trying to figure out how to get that done. And so if y'all have any suggestions for it, we'd sure appreciate it.
Do you have, pictures of what the road looks like?
I do not, Joe. I didn't even know we were on until this morning at 8:30, so.
The road is pitiful. You take a few minutes and just drive out there and you can see that for yourself. I apologize for not bringing a video and having all that. You know, I've asked about this road to be repaired. I don't believe we've had any maintenance on this road in the last year plus. Everybody's aware of the rain that we had back in the spring.
Yes, sir.
There's ditches that's cut across this road where they've implemented pipelines or gas lines or something coming across there that were not done properly. Those ditches can get to be deep. There's potholes in that road that's just unbelievable. Baywalk put a road through Randy Callen's, and that drainage where they implemented that road right there too has also caused a problem just before you come into our gate on County Road 346 where it washes across there. That ditch gets to be deep. This road almost gets to where it's impassable in an automobile. Truck, you can navigate it. Cars, pretty iffy and kind of sketchy. And we're trying to run a business at the end of that road. My deal today is I would like to know what it's gonna take to see about getting it repaired and who is gonna be the point of contact to check on updates to see if it's gonna get repaired, please.
Within, Lake County Road, within that is 46 is in Preston's precinct.
Yes, it is.
So that's your point of contact.
Hadn't worked.
Judge?
Preston, you have anything?
Yeah, I have a lot to say. First of all, there's been a whole lot of miscommunication up here, and there's also been a lot of lies about this county road. We had a road use agreement with Baywall, and, I've brought up this court numerous times to get this road repaired. And in this road use agreement, it says that we contact them, that they will, wouldn't it? I can just read you some of this stuff out of the road use agreement, where you don't have to take my word for it, but, says, Amadeus will be solely responsible for any damage done to this road, County Road 346. And, it says if we notify them within 2 weeks, you know, they will make any improvements that we request. Well, I've talked to Michael Hall about it a number of times, and he sat here in court and claimed he did talk to them, but they never did fix the road. So I talked to them, and I met with you out there, Joe, and with the on-site team from Baywall. We met out there and we talked to them. Well, Michael come in here on several different occasions and claimed that we didn't have a road use agreement. Is that correct, Michael?
Preston, I'm not gonna get into the pissing match with you.
You did say that, it's on video, the record is.
Yes, I did say that. I
We
said
didn't
it
have a
once at
road use
least.
agreement.
I was wrong, Preston, I've acknowledged that 5 times in here. I'll do it again right now.
So we come out.
And by the way, you're wrong about what Jess says. They're responsible for damages they caused. I'll address that, Mike.
Well, did they not cause that? When the water ran off, when I met with Joe out there, it was caused the water had ran off. Randy Collins Field, the dirt road, or the road they ran through his field was a bay wall road. And that water ran across the road and washed the road out. And that's the reason I went out there and met with him. He called me complaining about the road being washed out. And that's the reason I went up there. And it says here, that if there's any drainage issues, that they're solely responsible for fixing them drainage issues. It requires a culvert or whatever. And also, they're supposed to have $2 million worth of insurance to cover any of this stuff. And there's a hold harmless clause on this also, that the county will be held harmless. You know, and I went up there out of good faith, and I met with them, and they said they would give us some material to fix that road. And Joe was right there when they told me that, and I fixed that road, that portion of the road that was damaged, I fixed it, and I did exactly what they told me I could do, and that's what I did. But then I get arrested and go to jail for it, when we had a hold harmless clause that said that we will be held harmless on this. And I have talked to Baywall since all this has happened, and they said they weren't even aware that all this was going on out here. They said they don't do business that way, and they wanna resolve this, and they wanna help us get to the bottom of this, and they're investigating it right now. But, and this isn't the only issue. Yes, we do have the issues with the pipeline company cutting the roads without getting permits. And it says in our agreement, in our pipeline policy, that they have to bore under the road. They have to encase that plastic line and put vent pipes on it. Well, they didn't do that. I brought this to the court too. And I've showed it to Michael Hall. Right here in the meeting, the second half of the meeting in November, the second part after we come out of the executive session, it's in the minutes. You can watch the video. I've said to the court, and I brought these same pictures. Well, nothing's never has been done about this, has there, Michael, about these unpermitted crossings? Have you wrote a letter to them?
Again, I don't wanna do this isn't the place, but let me tell you, I asked you to tell me in writing, who, what, when, where damaged your roads that you've never done.
I brought it to court, and brought you right in court where there wouldn't be anybody lying about this. Everything I tell you, you say that I hadn't told you.
You and I don't talk, you agree?
That's the reason I did it in court on video, so we wouldn't be just going back and forth, you saying what I did do or I didn't do. And I brought the pictures at that time too. So, is that not true?
Who, what, when, where, in writing, that's what I'm asking for.
I brought to you right here on video in court, in front of everybody, brought this court's attention. Nothing's ever been done about that neither. So there's a lot of issues going on with this road. And my family and I had to spend an enormous amount of money having engineers go out there to measure this road, test this road. All this stuff's come out of my pocket And I did this out of good faith to help the citizens out there. And this helped Randy County too. He had an RV park and all the people out there calling me out there saying they can't get in and out of it. This was to help everybody. And they gave it to me, and it says right here, you know, I was held harmless. So I was doing my job as a county commissioner.
Okay, I think you're talking about two different issues there, Commissioner Martin. I don't wanna talk about what happened to you personally. That has nothing to do with this issue, okay? You weren't involved in that, other than Mr. Nixon was present to your conversations. Heard every word of it and spoke his mind about it. Told the truth about it, okay? So I don't wanna talk about that anymore. What we wanna talk about is the road itself. Paragraph 3C of that agreement provides as follows. Notwithstanding anything to the contrary herein, Fisher County shall remain responsible for maintenance of its county roads in accordance with Fisher County's own maintenance schedule. Period.
It says this.
So we can talk about Bay Law all day long. Most of that was dealing with the construction phase of that project. Been over for 3 years, 2 years. That's been over with. And now it's all the traffic coming up and down after you have a big rain like you've had this spring. And it's just tearing the heck out of the road, and you gotta maintain it. I mean, it's that simple. A blade, you know? That's what we need.
But does it not say, Kenny, in here too, that this road use agreement's in effect until these are decommissioned? That means taking them completely down?
I agree with that wholeheartedly, it does. But that doesn't absolve Fisher County of the responsibility to maintain the roads. This isn't just Amadeus.
No, it's not. It's the oil company. has
It's
a lot to
oil
do with
companies,
this.
it's everybody else that uses that road. I mean, these people have to go to the grocery store, or wherever else they have to go, to spend their money in Rotan to get whatever supplies they need. And they can't do it if they can't pass over the road. I mean, there's a ton of people using that. We don't control the traffic there.
Well, Kenny, I got a $12,000 gravel budget for the whole year. It took me one day putting that material they offered me on that road there to repair it. And I got charged with $51,000 for one day's of work out there when I have a whole year's budget of $12,000 for material. You know, so how am I supposed to make that work? You know, that's a couple hours worth of.
I don't know who charged you. That's an issue that I don't know anything about. What I do know is what we're talking about is not material problems. It's just plain maintenance.
And when we get this resolved, I wanna fix that road. I wanna do right by the citizens out there. That's the reason I went out there to fix it to start out with. I was doing my job and trying to do right by the citizens. But I have had no support up here by our councilman. Our county attorney he should have been trying to represent me on this. Instead, he was trying to frame me on it.
I'm not even gonna respond to that because I don't think that's our bailiwick. We're here as concerned taxpayers wanting to get our road fixed. It's that simple. And it has nothing to do with these other peripheral issues. What it has to do with is the county taking its equipment, a blader, a maintainer going over the road. It's not a materials problem. It's simply a day or two of work on the road to get it in passable condition. And that's not too much to ask. All of these people pay their taxes just like everybody else here.
Well, this issue needs to be resolved, and I wanna have it resolved. You know, there's a whole lot of lies have been spread about this, you know, my reputation running and everything else. A lot of financial burdens over this. And I'm the only one that went out there and tried to do anything for this road. There's material left that place, and everybody in here knows, there's people in here that hauled that material off of there. They didn't have the authority to haul that material. There's people that have not been charged with it.
I get it. I mean, I understand where you're going there, but that's not the issue we're discussing today.
All they're asking for is.
We're not asking for materials, we're asking for somebody to go out there and play and maintain.
Well, until it's resolved, I don't see how it's gonna get fixed, because they may.
Who's
be
going
more-
to then? Who's going to? I don't care if you do it, I don't care if you do it, or you do it. You got a boss somewhere. Somebody is Preston's boss.
Y'all are the
Somebody,
bosses.
No, it's got to be further than that.
But my question is, to say it's dark, somebody that don't know that road's like that goes down it and has a bad wreck.
It
somebody
can
gets
be
killed,
dangerous, yes.
who they gonna sue?
Well, now they're gonna sue y'all because you have noticed that there are special defects existing out on those roadways. And so under the Tort Claims Act, guess who's liable now?
We are.
Yes.
Because we just gave you notice that there's problems out there.
Regardless of who tore it up, the county's responsible for
Exactly.
making it passable. I mean, I have the same problem, but we fix it and go on and do what we gotta do.
Exactly, you're right.
That's our job.
Yeah.
But I mean, the importance of today is we've now provided Fisher County notice that there are defects existing out there that are dangerous. And so if something happens now, it's on Fisher County.
I'm not gonna go out there and put more material on that road or do anything else until we get this resolved, because we may have to take more samples on that road. There may have to be more investigation on this road. Until this is put to bed, I'm not going out there and stick my neck out any further.
I don't understand what needs to be put to bed.
Well,
I mean, we're not asking for materials at this point in time. We're simply asking that you take your equipment that you own, Fisher County owns, and go out there and do what's necessary to blade the road off and get it passable. Because you're right. There are people that travel out there 40, 50 miles an hour down that road. They hit a huge pothole 2 feet deep, the car rolls 4 times and somebody's killed.
we need to have some teeth behind our pipeline permits and our road use.
Those
agreements.
ditches need to be addressed, Rusty, you're correct.
Because here's the problem, folks. You can talk all day about pipeline permits, et cetera. But that individual who rolls his car comes to some lawyer and he finds out that in an open court, commissioner's court, y'all were notified of that defect, they got a heck of a case. And you know, I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to pass money out to somebody that gets hurt because I didn't do my job. That's what we're asking. Simple enough.
Simple justification to it is, doesn't matter what our agreements are with anybody, if they're not upholding their end and we have to go after them, citizens still have to drive the road, so we just document what we do. We keep up with the money we spend, the material and everything else, and when it goes to court, then we go after the company for that amount of money for reimbursement. But other than that, it is our responsibility to keep those roads up and going. It doesn't matter what's going on.
I wanna clarify something. Listen, you saying you won't run a blade down it?
I'm not saying I won't, I'm saying I haven't, wanna get this resolved first, cause there may be more litigation over this road.
First thing we need to do is what they're asking is run a blade down the road. If you're not willing to do that, I'm sure the other commissioners will say, Tim,
Oh, yeah,
I
I
don't
sure
want
was willing when we were trying to resolve this earlier on.
I'm
You
willing
said
to
up
send
here
my
too,
guys
you
out
said
there.
we didn't have a road use agreement, you signed the road use agreement.
I'll pay
We would
for it.
welcome,
We'll pay for our own machines to help y'all fix it.
I'll help.
we would welcome that.
That was my suggestion, Your Honor, and that's great, I'm glad we're gonna get it.
I mean, it's not our precinct, but this is our county.
We appreciate that.
Document everything.
If y'all could just.
If we
help
need to
us
haul
out as soon
material,
as
we'll
possible.
help haul material, we'll even help pay
We
for it.
asked y'all to do that too, when Baywell was offering to give us material. Y'all sit here and didn't wanna do a thing about it, did you?
Let's clarify you all, and we're not gonna get into all that right now. I mean, this is turning into personal, not fixing a resident's problem.
I will be your point of contact. We'll get a blade down the road.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all we ask for. Just get it passed.
Thank y'all for your
Thank
time
you.
today.
Appreciate your time, Bill.
All right, item 13, discuss damages. Have we already done that, or what would you like to?
No, I'd like to move forward with this,
Okay.
you know, Michael said when I brought this other issue to the court about this road, that he didn't believe that was his responsibility to try to find who the pipeline company was that put this in. So,
Your Honor, and I'm gonna step out. My words, I'll let them speak for themselves instead of Mr. Martin characterizing for me.
so I started doing the investigation myself. And so I've got on the railroad commission site and found out who drilled the well and who put in the saltwater well and this pipeline that wasn't permitted, the two pipelines that weren't permitted, or two crossings. We're going through Randy Collins Field here. Well, in our agreement is they supposed to bore under this road. They didn't bore, they cut right across both of the roads. They didn't encase it, they didn't put bin tops on it, they didn't do anything. So anyway, it's Arrington Oil Company's one that drilled the oil well. And, I've told Joy about which company it was, and she said they had never filed any permits on this. Well, in our agreement, our pipeline permit says there's a $5,000 penalty for each crossing that they go across our roads without applying for the permit prior to it. And I brought that to this court's attention and our county attorney's attention. Nothing's been done this far. So, I guess we need to move forward with turning this over to Isaac Castro to send a demand letter to the pipeline company. And I have talked to Arrington Oil, and they have responded to me, and they said that they weren't aware of it and this and that. And then I also contacted Gus, he's the gentleman that came here to court and asked the ladies lay flat lines. I don't know if y'all remember them coming to court. And we said we wouldn't charge nothing for the lay flat lines, that we don't have a policy on that. Well, he said that somebody must have dropped the bar or something. He didn't know why they cut the road or put the pipelines in without permits. So that's pretty much where it stands. But we need to move forward with a demand letter on, Arrington Oil for crossing the road twice without getting a permit prior. And also on the damage by Baywall to that county road, it's in the road use agreement that they'll be responsible for it under this hold harmless clause. I think we need to move forward with making a claim on their insurance. They have $2 million worth of insurance, and they did send me the certificate that they have insurance, naming Fisher County as a rider to cover these kind of issues. And Baywall and Amadeus, I've talked to the VP of operations. I've talked to 4 different people over the last few months, and they've been very helpful and accommodating. They want to resolve this. Like I said earlier, they said they were unaware any of this stuff was going on. They said they don't do business this way. They want to get to the bottom of it, and said they're investigating what all happened out there right now. They said ever who these other people were hauling material from there that didn't have permission to be hauling that material. Or if somebody gave it to them people didn't have permission to be giving them that material. They were hauling that material off. It was selling it to individuals in Rotan. And one of the landowners out there was hauling it to their personal property. Building roads, I followed the trucks behind them. There's even Rotan City Councilman was out there when this happened, Randy Collins' friend, when all this happened. He seen this other individual hauling it to his property, but that wasn't what was behind all of this. This was politically motivated, the whole thing was. So anyway, I'd like to just move forward with getting Castro to write a demand letter for all the expenses we've been out, the county legal expenses, engineers, the testing on this road that's incurred. And y'all got any objections to moving forward with this, to try to get this resolved so we can move forward and put all this behind us.
Pleasure of the court.
So nothing was filed? No agreement on anything?
There's no, and Joy, did you ever find any road crossing permits for Channel 346 where these pictures I brought you back in November? The second part of the meeting, I brought it up in open court. Second half started at 10 o'clock in November meeting. November 14th is that.
I have not seen the road crossing agreement that we use for everybody else been turned in.
So they never have even filed a permit, and they did it, and even since I've contacted them, I told them after I even called the oil company, I said, well, you need to contact our judge's office and talk to Joy. She'll show you the permit that y'all were required to have. Have they done that, Joy? Have they contacted Arrington Oil Company since I've talked to you?
Not that I know of. If they contact me and ask me for anything like that, I send them a copy of it. Their responsibility is to do what they're supposed to do and get it back.
and it has to come through Commissioners Court.
So,
That's the rules that y'all had set.
when I brought this to court in November 14th, in the second half of the meeting, after we came out of executive session, even Gordon said, well, the penalty needs to be assessed to them, the $5,000 penalty if they didn't do it. And Michael has done nothing since then. He hasn't moved forward, he hasn't wrote them a letter, he wrote a letter to commissioners berating them, but he's never wrote a letter to them. And I've talked to Baywall, and he sat here in court saying that he talked to Baywall about this road use agreement when all this came up with the damages to the road. Well, I have talked to 4 people there, and not a single person said they've ever heard anything from him. They're denying that he's ever contacted them.
All ears, guys.
At this point, I mean.
Something's gotta be done. This needs to be put behind us.
Yes, something's gotta be done, but it's both of y'all just going at one another like normal. So the whole point of this is we bring Michael back in, he provides us with, if he's been sending them something, he's gonna have the evidence to show he sent it. If he could show the court he sent it, there's no reason to use an outside law firm.
When I questioned him in November about this, he said he wouldn't tell me the name of who he supposedly talked to, and said he was not gonna cooperate with me, is what his exact words were. So how can you get something done when your county attorney is supposed to be representing you, will not cooperate with you to get to the bottom of this and resolve it? When they're trying to make false accusations against you instead.
Well, it's been both parties, not cooperating with both parties.
Well, why, when him and our judge both sat here and said we didn't have a road use agreement, why, when this thing was signed, why was the commissioner that this was taking place in, and had already addressed the court about having issues with, did they not give this road use agreement to that commissioner and say, we do have one, that they signed it? It has Ken Holt's name on it, has Michael Hall's name on it, has Daniel Duke from Baywall's name on it. But they were sitting there saying that we didn't have one, and we did have one. I should have been given this from the very start, but I know what I had to work with, and what recourse I had.
Did we get Michael Hall to come back in, Judge?
I'm sorry I missed whatever Preston said. I was outside speaking with Mr. Maxwell. But I will try to respond to whatever you're asking, Michael.
The biggest thing was where he's saying that, he's talked to you and he's asked you to move forward with some stuff, and you told him that you submitted to those companies, you would have record of submitting anything to that company, correct?
I can tell you I haven't submitted anything because I wrote him a letter before you were in office asking him to tell me, as I mentioned earlier, who, what, where, when the damage occurred, who did it, the amount of the damage, and I've never received that.
You said here in court that you did talk to Baywall about this road and about the material they're offering to donate to us.
I did.
Okay, so who did you talk to in Baywall? You said they would not fix it, but you told me in court. You said they would not do it, Preston. I can't make them do it. It's your
I think
word.
I incorrectly said there wasn't a road use agreement. But, I don't remember the name of the person.
So you don't know who you were negotiating?
Look, I'm on the deposition, man. What are we doing here?
I'm trying to get to the bottom of this, what I'm trying to do here.
We need to go to the executive session. Make a motion to go to the executive session on this matter.
I'll second.